Europe should learn from Lebanon that Lebanon was a majority of Christians 100 years ago in 1933 census. So those who tell others or accuse others of being colonial powers, like actually they are the colonial powers, which means the Arab Islamic conquest. They will continue until they control your country, and then you will be just begging them to survive in UK. Lebanon is an example of Europe today. If you want to know what will happen, listen or learn the history of Lebanon.
Other Yemeni in northern Israel, where we're following Tommy in tommyinisrael.com, where we've just caught up with a Christian leader to tell us what's really happening for Christians here in Israel.
Okay, guys, good afternoon. My name is Shadi Khalloul, and welcome to Israel. And I'm happy to host you and be with you this evening. I can introduce myself easily. I am Israeli Christian, born and raised as a Christian. We are a Christian community, native indigenous Christian community in the Middle East. So we developed in this region, exactly here in the Sea of the Galilee, from the first disciples of Jesus in the land, that he was Jewish, spoke Aramaic language, like we still speaking it today, and we pray in this language. So we are an ancient community before becoming even Christians. We were Aramaic people. The Jews developed from us as a Jewish people, and we developed from Jews as religion, as Christian religion as you know it today. So we are one people connected here. We are the indigenous together with the Jews in this region, speaking the Aramaic language like Jesus and his disciples, and we continue to exist with all the persecution that happened to us since the Arab Islamic conquest in the 7th century. This was terrible conquest. It was colonizing our regions from Arabia to this region, and it spread all the way to to North Africa, to Europe. They tried in Europe, they failed in Vienna, and they failed also in Spain. To remind you, Spain was occupied 700 years from the same conquest. And the Christians at the end kicked out those invaders. It was invasion, it was occupation, it was colonizing other nations. That's what the Arab Islamic conquest did, and we still suffer from it until today. As a Christian in Israel, I tell you, I lead a movement called the Israeli Christian Aramaic Movement. Has two goals. The two goals are very simple. One is preserving our Christian faith, our Christian identity, our Aramaic roots, our Aramaic language, that Jesus spoke it, that we still speaking it, and that the church, our ancient Aramaic Christian Antiochian church, still preserving it in our daily prayers. Now, as you see, it's not easy because the Middle East was conquered by majority today is Muslim. It was until the 7th century Christian majority with Jewish people speaking both Aramaic language. The towns in the Galilee, the towns in Lebanon, the towns in Syria, the towns in Iraq, all this, even in Judea, Samaria, all these areas of Israel are still called in Aramaic in the original language. And even though it is inhabited by Arabs today. Why? Because when the Arabs conquered and occupied our lands, the Jews were speaking the Aramaic language, the Christians were speaking the Aramaic language, and they called the towns that they formed and they actually established in their own tongue, Aramaic. And the Arabs took this land and they colonized it and sit on it and ethnic cleanse the original communities. But the towns still testify for the origins of this region. So those who tell others or accuse others of being colonial powers, like actually they are the colonial powers, which means the Arab Islamic conquest. And also I have one goal is preserving the identity. Second is helping our community as native Christian community of 2% of in Israel, which is the only thriving, growing community of Christian in the Middle East. If I compare it with Lebanon, if I compare it with Syria, with Iraq, with Egypt, we are the only thriving, growing Christian community in any other country in this region. And thanks to the Israeli democratic Jewish state, because we enjoy all democracy in this region. It's the only state that allows freedom for Christians, because it's democracy, because we have order of law, because we have equal rights. And I don't like to speak on equal rights because it's obvious that every person in this country under democratic laws will have equal rights. Muslims have equal rights here. Jews have equal rights. Christians have equal rights. Druze have equal rights. Any other citizen who, even if he's English, live in Israel will have equal rights because of democracy. Now, I would like to speak also about equal, not only rights, equal duties, because democracy and the country that you live in it and you live peacefully and safely and securely, because we have an army, strong army that we built it with, believe me, a lot of work to defend our borders from these enemies that you saw them, savage enemy in the 7th of October that massacred people, ethnic cleansed communities, children being burned in ovens, people being beheaded in South because they've been Jews by Islamic terrorists. This is the terrorist or the enemy that we are facing in this region, Christian and Jews alike. They did that for us as Christians before. They did it so many times in different periods of time until we become a minority and we were the majority in the Middle East. In Lebanon, to remind you, was the only Christian state that was formed. The only one. The concept for Lebanon and Israel was a two homelands for two minorities in the region. A Christian home in Lebanon and a Jewish home in Palestine, and both. Palestine wasn't a country. It was a geographical area that called by Adrianos in the land of Israel to punish the Jews, to try to disconnect them from their roots and make them forget. That's what happened. But thank God, no one forget his roots. No one forget his land. It's the same like Tommy, you don't forget your British origins, and you fight for it, and you defend yourselves in anywhere where you exist, because this is what we belong to. And so we are here. If we don't remind them our past and remember our past, we will have no future and we will have no existence in the end. And so the second goal for us is to integrate our people in the only country that allow us this safe and keen integration or respect. And when I say respect, is recognition, basic recognition. In 2014, I can tell you a story now. I tell you in 2007, first of all, I am the first Christian to become officer in the IDF, in the paratroopers in 1995. The first Christian. And I served my country because I know my country, this is the only a place where I feel safe. And if I feel safe and I wanted to keep being secure and safe country, I must also volunteer. I must give to this country and give what this country gives me, the safety. So I protect my family, I protect my home, I protect my people, and I protect my country that I live securely. And I encourage other Christians to follow this path so they can serve the country and keep enjoying these rights and safety and happy life in Israel and thriving and prosperous community. So if we feel good, we should contribute. And this is a burden on our citizens, yes, but it should be equal for everyone. You cannot tell me about equal rights without serving your country, without protecting your country and If you come to a country and you want to change the country to be something else, wipe out its origins, then it's invasion. That's invasion. And that's the mindset of Arabs and Islamic conquest in not only in this region, in the entire world we see this system. It's happening in England, it's happening in Holland. I was with the Dutch group. It's happening everywhere. In the 7th century, in 2007, I returned from USA. I studied in USA, in Las Vegas. You think Las Vegas only gambling and, God doesn't exist in Vegas. But God is in Las Vegas. And this Bible in Vegas, Bible course in my studies changed my life and brought me back to the land of the Bible. I was in Las Vegas, wanted to build my American dream. I ended up coming here and building my Aramaic dream in Israel. That's what happened because of Bible course. When we were reading verses from the Bible, and I took this course because it was easy. I come from land of the Bible, so in our Protestant schools, I'm not Protestant, but I'm a Maronite Christian, and Maronites are Aramaic Phoenician people that speak Aramaic original language as a mother language in the past. And so we are like Catholics today, belong to the Catholic Church, but I studied in Protestant school here in Israel. And we were reading Bible, and I know the Bible very well. So I said, easy course, I take the Bible, I put it's only for credit, but I ended up that this Bible changing my life
For
again.
visa, it was for visa.
No, it's not for visa, for my bachelor degree, International Business and Finance, I studied, yes. So we were reading, one of the verses was Talitha Kumi in the Bible. And then the instructor, he was Catholic, said, no, stop. This is not English. This is Aramaic, and it kept in the original language of Jesus as it is when Jesus made this miracle and said to the little lady, rise up. And he said, unfortunately, this language died. I said, excuse me, it didn't die. We still exist. We're still here. He said, who you are? I said, I am Israeli Christian. I belong to the Syriac Aramaic Maronite Church of Antioch. We still pray in this language. Our people also speak this language. And we are here in Israel and the Middle East. He said, sorry, we don't know about you. Prepare a presentation next week. And I ended up with a presentation, deepening my knowledge about our people, who we are, what we are. And I found it out also our connection to the Jewish people here, how we and the Jews are actually developed from the same people. And we should stand together against this danger. And so I decided to come back to Israel. I came back and I founded this NGO that we're working with it since then. I sat with Benjamin Netanyahu in 2013. I convinced him to recognize our people as Aramaic national identity in the Israeli registry form. And it happened in 2014 when Gideon Saar, the interior minister back then, now is the foreign minister, he recognized our Aramaic national identity. Instead of being recognized, mistakenly, Arabs. So this was a great success for our movement as Aramaic NGO, and it was also saving our country and people from the deceit that some other Arab forces tried to impose on Christians here. They tried to impose on them Arabism as a beginning for Islamization.
Yeah. We're Arabs.
Okay? So we saved our people and we exposed the truth to the Jews and to the world, and the Jews were the first people to understand this, recognizing us, and while Arabs until today not being able even to admit the truth that we are Aramaic people, we are the indigenous native Christians of the Middle East. Because once they do it, they actually admitting they are colonizers. That's why they don't admit also the existence of Jews, and they try to say that the Jews are Arabs, to make Jews Arabs too. Why? Because if the Jews are Arabs, then they won't be exposed. Their lie won't be exposed if they make the Jews Arabs. So they want to make like the world believe that all the Middle East was Arab, which is not. The Arabs didn't exist until the 6th, 7th century, my friends. In history, play role in history and a very brutal role of conquest, of Islamization, of 1,400 years, include a risk of collapsing Europe. Back then and today, it still exists. So, I just want to tell you that what we are doing is nothing new in our movement. The Christians fought here for their existence. They fought in Lebanon, specifically the Christians of Lebanon fought for their existence. And the ones who led the movement are the Aramaic Maronite people. And they formed autonomous region in Mount Lebanon. And this autonomous region must continue to exist because it's the proof of who are the indigenous people in this Middle East. Because Israel alone cannot fight all this alone. Israel need alliances. And alliances for exposing the truth to you in Europe and to the entire world. We, with the Jews, had alliance since King Hiram of Tyre. He was Syriac Phoenician king. And King Hiram with King Solomon had alliance, and they built, because of this alliance, the Temple Mount back then. It wasn't Al-Aqsa Mosque. When Jesus was walking and going to Jerusalem, he visited not Al-Aqsa Mosque, he visited
My father's house.
my father's house, the temple. Okay? It was a Jewish holy site. And so we also helped the Jews having this temple built. We sent the cedars of Lebanon to King Solomon, 7,000 as well engineers and 42,000 workers to help. And for this alliance, the Jews gave all Western Galilee to the king of Tyre, of Hiram. So you can see in the history how alliances build peace and how we are now working, it's as example, continuously to build this alliance, because this is a natural alliance of two minorities, two nations in this region, indigenous, who want to survive, and alone each one cannot do it by himself. We need this alliance, and with the Western world, we can make it because we have same values and same threat. We share Christianity. Christianity didn't stand as a religion when it was founded. It was part of a Jewish development back then, here in Galilee, in this Sea of the Galilee, here, in your backyard. It started here and spread to the entire world and spread to Europe. And that's why we share the same values. We share same values, and we also, my friend, these values brought our democracies to where it is today. Don't let anyone mislead you. Our democracies, check out where democracy spread. Only, mostly, in Western societies where Christians before and Jews that depend on Judeo-Christian values. Not in Islamic countries.
And you were talking earlier about Lebanon and how it's been kind of colonized. Do you think that's a warning sign for Europe?
Lebanon is example for Europe. Lebanon is a great example for Europe, and Israel and Lebanon, or Christian and Jewish in Lebanon and Israel, also an example for Europe how we can protect each other better. Without the intervention of Israel in 1982 to how you call it, to fight this PLO led by Arafat, PLO, Palestinian, they call it Liberation Organization. It was occupation of Lebanon. They occupied Lebanon, and Israel intervened. They saved Christians from annihilation, and that's why they still exist as Christians in Lebanon. If Israel didn't intervene in 1982, the Christians would be wiped out back then. So we should thank Israel for protecting us, first of all, and for protecting Christianity in Lebanon. And second, we should learn from, and Europe should learn from Lebanon, that Lebanon was a majority of Christians 100 years ago. In 1933 census that I have here, I have here the research from 1942. Census states clearly Christians of Lebanon were majority, with numbers, by the way. And the creation of Lebanon, actually, it made appeasement toward the Muslim world, and they made a constitution to appease a Muslim world, and they took advantage of this. And although they didn't recognize Lebanon as a Christian or as led or managed by Christians back then, what's called the Maronites, they didn't want that because in a Muslim mindset, they cannot accept being ruled by others. They must be the rulers. They must be the ones who rule you, and you need to be below them, inferior, second class or third or fifth or whatever class citizen.
Yeah,
that's in their mind.
In Britain as well.
They will continue until they control your country, and then you will be just begging them to survive in UK one time.
How would you respond to people like big influencers nowadays who paint a very different picture about Christians in Israel and firstly how they're treated in Israel, and then also about the friendship and the alliance and all? So people like Tucker Carlson. I don't know.
What's your name?
Avi Yemini.
Avi. If you have the money of Qatar, you can do a lot of things. If you have the money of the oil, that they didn't pay a lot for it, and it's English developed for that for them. It's easy money. You buy the media, you buy people, whoever you want you can buy. That weak people that have no roots, no origins, forgot their origins, and they speak whatever they want. And that's how the propaganda goes. But the truth is stronger than all these. At the end, the truth is here strong. You are here in Israel. Where is the apartheid, my friends? Where is it? I am a Christian minority. I was an officer in the army. I led Jews. They were my soldiers, not the opposite. And I gave orders to them what to do as a Christian. What apartheid are they talking about?
Well, they like to share videos from, I think, Orthodox parts of Jerusalem where some Christians are.
Oh, really? Okay. So
what's that about?
You know that just yesterday, those guys that did this, it's a tiny, tiny Jewish, even fanatic minority, like it exists in any other religions. And those people are punished by the state of Israel. While in the Arab side, if you do that, you will be actually a hero. And nobody will punish you. And nobody will do anything for you. And they will even encourage them to do more. In Jerusalem, you have maybe a few people do it. And every time now they do it, they take them, they punish, they put them in jail. Yesterday they have a punishment for one guy that did it. It was in the court. And they ruled against this guy, and he will be in jail. That's the difference between us here in Israel and in Arab countries. But they take these small events to actually demonize Israel and say all the Jews are this. I live with the Jews. We live with the Jews here. The majority are 80% Jews, are peaceful Jews, are very liberal Jews, are open-minded, and they want to live in peace with all others. But if you attack them, then it's your problem. It's not their problem. They are people who know to defend themselves and willing to defend themselves, and that's their right to defend themselves. And I ask all Christians to defend themselves like the Jews did, instead of just turning the other cheek. Because turning the other cheek, Jesus told us turn it one time, not every time. And he told us, I am leaving now by swords. I will not be with you. And he told us not only be peaceful like a dove, he told us also be wise like a snake. A snake, if you attack a snake, you will be in a great danger. He might bite you and kill you. And if you also know the snake, go and search for survival. To survive, he kill and eat. So what is a snake? We cannot, as a Christian, that we all share this background of Christianity, be only like, take only what is comfortable to us. if we want, implement every word that Jesus said in the Bible, and you will see he didn't bring it from his mind. It comes from a very solid history of Jewish people. And it's written, everything is written, and he said not even one letter will fall from the Bible, I mean the Old Testament. The New Testament is not only stand by itself, it stands with the Old Testament together as one unit. It's continuity and not separate. That's what Jesus said. People take it only what is convenient. Okay, I want to be peaceful. Oh, leave us. They will not leave you. Don't mistake. Nobody will leave you.
What would you say to people around the world that fall for the propaganda from people like Tucker Carlson? So good
I
people.
I tell them, first of all, come here and watch yourself. Second, I tell them if they have questions to contact us here in the Israeli Christian Aramaic movement, and I show them videos and I show them everything, and follow us in our churches and how we celebrate Palm Sunday in the streets of Haifa, and we close the street of Haifa, and the Jews wait in patience to finish the celebrations. They wait for us to finish the celebration of Palm Sunday, and huge traffic jam in the whole, I'm telling you, in London, they will not allow us to do it. Here in Haifa, they allow us to do it. That's Israel. Israel is freedom of religion, freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom of everything like you in Europe, even more. That's Israel. Now, I'm not saying, my friends, that all is perfect. Israel, like any other democracy, has imperfections. It has imperfections, yes. We are in a country that are surrounded by enemies. Those enemies will destroy you. And sometimes you need to give priorities, because it's national security issues, to other things, and that's the top priority. And so you neglect other things that is less now, really, less, how I say?
Urgent.
Huh?
Urgent
to do it now. So that's the thing. So as a minority, I have much more maybe hard time, not because there's no freedom, because I need to, as a minority, to make more efforts to bring my issues on the top, national security issues now, to make it aware, to make them aware. And if you are smart and work in a positive model like we do in our Aramaic Christian movement, you can achieve things. I do summer camps. I use media a lot. I use influencers a lot. And these influencers expose our truth. It exposes the truth, and it come in good synergy with us and the Jews together, because this is how it should work. If we want to work against each other, we both will fail. We both will fail. And if Europe will work against Israel, Europe will fail and Israel will fail. Because they share same roots, same background, same democracies. They must work together to make both successful from the same threat that coming to both people. So I invite you really to bring more and more people here, and I thank God that I am here sitting with you, at least exposing this to you, and thank to Rael and for bringing me here. And Vice Grad also in the past exposure, thank you so much. I am really, it's an honor to be with a group of influencers like you, and so important. Questions?
Hi, go on.
Yes.
Could you point me in the direction of some passages in the Bible? Because the difficulty I have when I'm trying to think as a Christian how to handle the issue of Islam is the fact that Islam didn't exist. So there's nothing in the Bible that says, oh, by the way, when you come across Muslims and Muslims trying to conquer your country, this is what you should do. And what you were just saying there about be wise like a snake, or turn your cheek only once, I just wonder if you could put me in connection with some verses I can store and go back to.
I'll give you my business card and you connect with me, and we will send you so many verses where Jesus not only showing peace, but also showing peace and strength.
That, because yeah, all the Bible groups I'm in where we're talking about this, we're sort of like, we're kind of looking for something to guide us in the Bible. So that'd be
Sorry,
really
the
helpful.
leaders of the church deceive us.
So when Jesus said, turn the other cheek, what did he mean? Hit me like a man.
When he say turn the other cheek, he want you to be peaceful that moment. But he didn't say turn another time your cheek. And I tell you, if you think about it this way, turn the other cheek, I turn for you. You hit me, for example, one time. I forgive you one time. But if you hit me again, believe me, that's the end of you.
We've
That's
got
it.
an issue. We've got a real issue in Britain and the whole of Europe, and the
You will be a snake then. Sorry.
Our leaders pursue appeasement, and they constantly just make excuses, and whatever terror attack or whatever show of force, or electing a sectarian minister who purely focuses on Muslim issues, they always accommodate it, and it's always appeasement. But that's all. From what I've seen in Israel, appeasement isn't the route to go down. You've got to meet. You've got to be assertive. How do you think we get our leaders to do that when any sort of suggestion of being assertive is cast out as racist and discriminatory and stuff like that?
I recommend European leaders to follow Jabotinsky word sentence. You know what is Jabotinsky? Jabotinsky is
Silence.
a Jewish Zionist leader, and he said one sentence that I even remind the Jews about it. You need to be proud of what you are. You need to be generous to your allies and the people who want to be part of you. And you need to be, sorry, but you need to be very, let's put it this word, strict against those who want to destroy you. Otherwise, you are not giving a model of a country that respects itself, that want to survive and want to defend itself. And you welcome more and more invasion and wars. If you show strength, people respect you. And the Arab world is built in strength. They respect power. Since their establishment, they were established in Al Jazeera, means in the peninsula. In the Arab Peninsula is Bedouin tribes. It's a culture of, how we call it, desert, very tough life, no forgiveness. People steal from each other, wage wars against each other, and the strong one survive and rule. That was within their Quran, developed as verses. And they read their verses as a religion now, and they believe in this culture. And if you don't come and show strength, and you appease them, you are in big trouble. It will not help. You need to show them strength. You need to show them that you know what you want. And if they don't want, it's their problem. I see a change in Europe. I hope it's not too late. And I pray it's not too late, because I call it, as a Christian, I love Europe. I love its people. I love its Christian roots, and Judeo-Christian roots is the basic for these countries, and I want it to continue, at least to see it prosperous in somewhere where we lost it here in the Middle East. Because we were not able to defend it. The only country a little bit still preserving it, it's Mount Lebanon. Lebanon, and not all Lebanon, Mount Lebanon, where the majority are Maronites, and they fought for this. They sacrificed for this. They sacrificed their sons, their daughters, who fought against Arab and Palestinian forces during the 70s and 80s, until the world intervened for them. Late, the first people who intervened were Israel to save the Christians in Lebanon. Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm going to want to ask you a lot of those questions again, but if we can walk, so that I can just do an
Okay.
interview with you.
No problem.
Can you just tell us about
Maybe
Lebanon
repeat
today.
it, I'm glad I heard it.
We met with you in the beginning of the war, and we were basically saying that Lebanon is completely controlled by Iran. Is it still the case now, after Hezbollah being?
Lebanon is now less controlled by Iran because Hezbollah, which is Iran itself, it's a proxy of Iran, it's part of the IRGC, but it's a little bit weakened, but they still have a lot of power. They have, I can say, the say in Lebanon because they fear them, because they still carry the weapons, illegal weapons. They are a militia, and they control the country by the weapon and the power of military force, which other people in Lebanon don't have. So the Maronites used to have this power during the first Lebanese war until 1990. And unfortunately, Western powers didn't stand with the Maronites against this barbarism of Islam. And they forced them to sign Taif agreement and appeasing the Muslims because of oil. And the Maronite gave up their weapon, and now they have even no say almost. The president of Lebanon is only puppet. He can do nothing. He can say to Hezbollah, we need to have peace with Israel. Who dare to say that? He said, we might have negotiations with Israel, indirect negotiation with Israel. And then they attacked him. Our patriarch, the head of the church, came to visit his sons. We are his sons. He's stationed in Lebanon, in Mount Lebanon. He came in 2017 to Israel, to visit Israel. You know, Hezbollah almost threatened to kill him. That's how the Christians live. It's a model for Europe, what would happen in the future for you if you continue, if you want to be in relation with Israel or with anyone else who is not, good to them,
It's already happening
you
with
will
the
be
state
in
person.
trouble.
It's already happened.
Lebanon is an example of Europe today. If you want to know what will happen, listen or learn the history of Lebanon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and share it far and wide to counter the propaganda coming out of out of Qatar, but from people like Tucker Carlson, who are lying about the whole story. And if you support our mission here on the ground in covering what Tommy Robinson is actually doing here in Israel, go to tommyinisrael.com, see all our reports. And if you support our mission, please consider chipping in to help cover the costs of being here. Wasn't cheap, and we're not getting $7,000 a post no matter what they say. We actually 100% rely on our viewers. That's you guys, tommyinisrael.com. We cannot do it without you, and I'm glad we're independent because I don't want anyone to be able to tell me what I have to report, but we need your help. tommyinisrael.com.